It's Phil here. Welcome to my garden. I'm filming this video it's kind of after supper because today was quite a scorching day. The plants were kind of thirsty, so I'm watering them right now. Just gonna give you a quick tour of the garden as I'm doing that. So here we have, this one garden bed there. So as you can see, I have different kind of vegetables in there. This is just one garden bed. I have a few others. So here, I have some green onions. These little plants there, they're spinach from New Zealand. They're supposed to be able to produce all summer without bolting, so that's pretty good. The only thing is the leaves contain oxalic acid, so you have to boil them before using them and discard the water. So that's something I would have liked to know before buying them, but I only realized later. These are radishes. They're watermelon radishes. They're white on the outside and red on the inside. They're also a slower growing radish. They get ready in more like 45 days compared to 20 to 30 days usually for radishes. So these have very nice leaves, but the roots are not ready yet. There I have some Grand Rapids salad. I've had a bit of a patchy germination right there. This one is a different kind of lettuce that I placed there because I had space. This one's a outrageous red. It's a very nice red salad. I can't wait to try it. Another row of green onions. More, here, this one I have some outrageous red mixed with spinach. And more of that lettuce. As you can see, this one is starting to be a lot bigger. Can probably start picking at some point. And there I have the oak leaf lettuce. So this one is called like that because the leaves look like oak leaves. More of that spinach. And those are rutabaga because I had the space. Essentially, I'm trying to squeeze in as much as I can in the garden. And the reason I'm alternating like that is just to, one is just to plant different stuff together. Also, so I don't really have a monoculture, don't attract as much pests. So there, full row of outrageous red. And more of that Grand Rapids. This one grows really well. It's also a bit older than the other lettuce that I have in there. Then I have some rapini. Rapini, they're like smaller versions of broccoli, also a bit more bitter. This is a marigold. I'm placing it there to repel pests. These are collards. You can see there's a bit of pest damage on that. They seem to attract a lot of different pests. So, more green onions, more rutabaga, and some leeks there. Okay, so one thing I wanted to talk about today is how to properly water your plants. It's a bit of a no-brainer once you know, but at first you might do it wrong. So a lot of time when we water, we tend to do the overhead watering. So let me switch view. So we take the hose and just hose down on top like that. That's not the greatest thing for a lot of plants. A lot of time that will cause health problems because of the water staying there. So what you actually want to do is go on the side and water as close to the soil as possible. Now, while I do that, I tend to like trying to remove all the weeds in the garden at the same time. As you can see, I have a lot of couch grass growing in there. This is one heck of a weed. It grows by rhizome and just keeps growing everywhere. Really hard to remove. So I try to pluck it as soon as I see it. It's not the greatest way to get rid of it because, you know, grass grows back really quickly when you cut it. But if I can get the roots out at least, then I know it won't be growing back. And I'm figuring out at some point I'll just tire out the plant completely. This one is a second garden bed I have. In this one I have two kinds of tomatoes. One is a beefsteak, the other one is an Italian tomato. I have more outrageous red in there, more radishes. I have some of the French breakfast kind. They're long and narrow. I have some cherry bells that produce nice round radishes. This one is going to seed. I'm letting it just to try and collect the seeds. This one is called an icicle. It's a full white radish. There I have some dwarf Scotch curl kale and more green onions. Here I have some lemon basil and one little plant of cilantro. Hopefully I'll get me something. I have more seeds, I just need to start them. There it looks mostly empty. I have just a bit of green onions growing. And that's also one thing I was wanting to talk about, is how to grow green onions. This other garden bed is also a good example of how to grow green onions by clumps. So you just put about 8 to 10 seeds together in a hole and let them grow together. It seems to produce way better results than just single ones like that. It makes it also a lot easier for weeding, because when they're clumped together, you just get stuff on the outside. And onions can look a lot like grass when they start growing, so it's easy to confuse them together. First garden, second garden bed. I have more stuff growing there. So, this is more lemon basil. I have this random dark opal basil growing there. I'm really hoping to be able to grow it big and propagate it because I'm out of seeds. There I have some red Russian kale, some oregano, some lacinato kale, and here I have a little cucumber plant. Those are Durkin's kind. They're good for pickling. Another thing I'm doing in that garden is growing herbs. There we have thyme. The reason I'm putting herbs in the garden with the rest is to repel pests. They tend to smell a lot stronger than the plants we grow, so they tend to push back the pests a bit because of all the substances they have in there to, keep pests away. So those are good to put. Thyme is one that I put there, and I know it tends to get a bit invasive, so just have to be careful with those to put them in garden beds, keep them trimmed, try to avoid seeds a bit, and then it should be fine. This one I wasn't really sure it was going to grow at first. It took quite a while to get to something that looks like that. Hopefully it will continue growing. You might have noticed when I showed my kale, this is not going in its row, neither are they. This was supposed to be oregano. It's growing very slowly in there, mixed with a little bit of weeds growing there, but I'm trying to get rid of them. It's just that it's a bit hard to pick them, and not the oregano, so I'm waiting for the oregano to grow a bit. But these probably migrated from this row, because that's what I planted in there. It's just that my seeds weren't really growing, so I ended up ordering new seeds. You'll also notice that all of the garden is covered in mulch. This is mostly to keep weeds down. And believe me, it really helps. Doesn't get rid of all of them, but most of the small ones cannot really grow through mulch. Well, as long as you put at least 2 inches. There's also 2 good functions to that. The first one is that it keeps the moisture in the soil, so you don't need to water as much. And really, I shouldn't be watering right now because I watered yesterday. It's just that it's 30 degrees out and the plants look like they need it. The other reason is that it slowly decomposes and turns into basically compost, and it attracts worms that will come up and eat whatever starts to decompose. So eventually, you're going to feed your garden. Something else you might be noticing is that it's a bit dark out. It's because one thing about watering, you're not supposed to water during full sun because you can kill your plants. So I tend to do it in the evening because getting up very early in the morning, not my thing. But aside from that, it works well. In this garden, you can see I have a lot of different plants. So there I have more. There I have more kale. I have this. That's a carrot. It kind of grew there. Well, it's the only one that grew in all that I planted. Carrots are really hard to start. I'll probably do a video later about that. There I put some basil. I have a row of marigold in there, again to repel pests. And there I have more collard. And up there, I should be getting a few cucumbers. I have some radishes that I left there to go to seed. So this is mostly a cucumber bed. The thing is, I have this lilac right on top. And it's really not rare for the cucumbers to grow all the way into the lilac. And I get some very nice cucumber up there. So, just a little trick. Cucumbers can grow through a lot of stuff, so you don't need any trellises. In this garden bed, what I have sugar snap peas right there. They're actually starting to flower. They make very nice little flower. What I used, they're basically poles for those snow fence, and that's just some kind of plastic chicken wire. Works really well to hold them, just a bit too small, so I'll have to find something else for next year. And I grew more lettuce there on the sides, and in the middle there I have bush beans. I have different kinds in there. I have I don't know if you can see through the netting, but those are bush beans. I have 3 different kinds. I have tender green, that are, well, obviously green. I have pencil rod, they're yellow beans. And I have royal burgundy, they're some kind of burgundy, and they apparently turn green when you cook them. So it's very interesting to have that, and I didn't plant the whole row because I'm doing a succession cropping with that one. So I started about 3 of each, and I'm going to plant more throughout the season. On this side of the garden bed, I have that's Genovese basil, and the second half is sweet basil. So I'm putting a lot of basil in there. I'm hoping to be able to make pesto with that. There I have some more of that dark opal that I'm hoping will grow well. There I have more spinach, more rutabaga, green onions. Those are more rutabaga and spinach. More radishes. Those should be ready. Oh no, wait, those are watermelon. They're not ready for a little while. More of that salad. have more marigold, and there have 2 eggplants, 2 different kinds. I'm hoping to grow well. And this last garden bed is a bit of a waste one. I've not been caring for it too much, and there's a lot of weeds growing. Except, well, all of those big green plants, they're potato plants. So I'm hoping those will grow potatoes, and the rest I had salad mix that I just tossed in there and a bit of dill. Hopefully that will give me some salad that I can use. And if not, it's just going to take some space. I'm thinking of harvesting that later and planting some more leeks in there. Then here I have some rhubarb. This one I think is Victoria. I have another one over there that is a green one. And those are red currants. You can see this one has weird leaves. It's because of aphids. Apparently it's not that bad for them. We can just let it go without treatment. But it looks a bit weird anyway. As you can see, there's some there. I haven't really weeded this part of the garden. That's something I'll have to do at a later point. So that's pretty much it for the garden tour. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll be making more gardening videos throughout the summer. So come check it out. And hope you'll enjoy them. See you next time, guys. Ciao.